We would like to welcome those of you at the Slyman Theater tonight in downtown New Iberia to our forum for candidates seeking the office of Iberia Parish Council Districts 9, 10, 12, and 13. Tonight's forum is sponsored by the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, Iberia Comprehensive Community Health Center, and Leadership Iberia. There are a few announcements before we begin this evening's program. Our sponsors wish to remind you that tonight's program is purely informational. Neither the Chamber, Iberia Comprehensive Community Health Center, nor the Leadership Iberia program endorse any particular candidate running for office. The last day to register to vote for the October primary, in person or by mail, is September 13th. Online registration deadline is September 23rd. Early voting runs from September 30th to October 7th, 2023, and Election Day is October 14th. Also, the Chamber is posting our forums to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodnewsiberia, and to the Chamber's Facebook page at Iberia Chamber. I would also like to thank my staff, Kelly Rourke and Megan Gary, for helping us, and my name Thomas, with the Chamber of Commerce. Also, from our past leadership, our timer is going to be Ms. Jade Buteau. Which class were you in? 21. Class 21. And tonight's moderator is in our current leadership class going on right now, and I will introduce you to Mr. Tyson Rivet.
Thank you, Thomas. At this time, I'd like to introduce the candidates. All candidates in this race were invited to participate. Those in attendance tonight are in the race for the Parish Council are District 9, Mr. Hubert Landry Jr. and Mr. Scott Ronsonnet. District 10 is Mr. Eugene Olivier Sr. and Mr. Brock Pellerin. District 12, Ms. Courtney Broussard Fitch and Ms. Lady Fontenette Brown. District 13, we have Mr. Cayman Crapple and Mr. Chris Feller. Each candidate will have 90 seconds for an opening statement. We will then ask a series of questions, which each candidate will have 120 seconds unless otherwise noted. Each candidate has also been given 2 rebuttal cards that they can use to take 60 seconds to comment on something the other candidate said during the answer. Those candidates wishing to use a rebuttal card will hold up their card after the other candidate finishes their answer to that question, and when recognized will get 1 minute to offer their additional thoughts. However, the candidates should be selective about when they use these rebuttal cards, because when their rebuttals have been used, that's it. If the candidate wants to use a rebuttal card, they should just hold it up so we can see it. Candidates, do you see your rebuttal cards at your places? To assist the candidates in keeping time, we have a timekeeper and timing lights situated down front. Candidates, when your time begins, the green light will come on. When you have 15 seconds left, the yellow light will come on. And when your time is up, the red light will come on. At that time, you must finish your sentence. If that takes more than a few seconds, the buzzer will sound and let you know that you must stop. So we'll all know what to expect. Let's try the buzzer. Due to the limits of time and to maintain a fair atmosphere, we ask that the audience hold any applause or other comment. All the questions I will ask tonight were predetermined. Questions were solicited from the public, and then an unbiased committee reviewed the questions submitted and came up with those that are to be asked tonight. All questions have been kept in strict confidence, and no one except the committee members and myself have seen them. At this time, we will start opening statements. We have the candidates sitting in alphabetical order by last names, as well as seating in the district they are running for. District 48 candidates sitting together and District 49 candidates sitting together. After our question portion of the program, we will have closing remarks starting in the reverse order. We will start opening statements with Mr. Landry and continue left to right.
All right, good evening, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank our sponsors for putting on this event tonight. Second, I'd like to thank all the people in the audience for coming out tonight to support us. My name is Hubert Landry. I'm running for Parish Council District 9. I'm a graduate from Louisville High School, 2002. Married to my wife, Brittany Landry, for the last 7 years. We have 2 boys, ages 6 and 9. Currently employed at Bureau of Transportation for the last 16 years, where I hold a position of operations manager. I also own a small outdoor advertising company called On-Site Outdoor Advertising. Been open since 2015. I currently serve on the Iberia Parish Planning and Zoning Board for the past 4 years, and with your support, I'd like to be the voice and represent District 9. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Scott Ronsley. I'd like to thank the Chamber as well as Leadership Iberia for putting this on. I'd also like to thank my wife, who is not in attendance due to doing religion classes back in Lowerville. I'd like to thank my dad, Buddy Ronsley, mom, Kelly Ronsley, that's my political campaign, as well as my aunt, Linda Clifton, who I see is in the audience. They support me in this endeavor for the past 4 years, and very aggressive. Thank the crowd also. You know, I'm glad to see people who are part of the process. It's very rare to catch people that are willing to get into politics, and even though you're not in it, believe me, you are. Okay. I went to Lowerville High School, graduated in 1990. I also attended the University of Southwestern Louisiana, which I'm giving away my age. Majored in business administration and accounting. I served on as a director of the Lowerville Little League for probably 10 years. I coached Little League, and baseball and softball, multiple teams, 7 days a week at times. I was also on the football Pee Wee board. I was also on the Hurricane and Conservation District Board for Iberia Parish back when we tried to get the hurricane passed. We're probably going to talk about some of the things that are implemented because of that, because of the whole stormwater pollution prevention deal. I also was on the ad hoc committee. If you ever want to get on a committee and learn about government, the intricacies, where the money goes and whatnot, the ad hoc committee was so tremendous to me. It taught me a lot. I'm a current council member for District 9, and I look forward to serving the rest of the 4 years. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank the Chamber for hosting tonight's event. My name is Eugene Olivier Sr. I am your District 10 Parish Councilman. Elected in 2015, started my service as your public servant in 2016 to present. Currently serving as the Finance Chair of the Iberia Parish Council. Married to my lovely wife for 44 years, Patricia Derwan Olivier, 5 children, Michelle, Eugene Jr., Dana, Keith, and Kevin, 9 grandkids. Owner of Eugene's Auto and Truck Repair for 31 years, working with my oldest son, who's taking over my business. I now work part-time, allowing me to focus most of my time on serving District 10 and Parish, improving the qualities of life for those I serve. As an active member of St. Nicholas Catholic Church, I also work weekly with the church food pantry, helping those in need. I serve in leadership roles in many state and national organizations. I'm running for my last term as your parish councilman. More information about me can be found on my newsletter that's circulating around. And thank everyone for coming here tonight. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brock Pellerin, running for Iberia Parish Council District 10. I want to thank the Chamber for putting this on, everyone showing up, showing our support for us. I was born and raised in District 10. Went to school, District 10, Grand Mary Elementary, Pee-wee's Elementary, went on to Iberia Middle School, and graduated from Nish. Upon graduation, I joined my father's business that he started back in 1991, Barnes Cabinets, and I'm still employed there. I run day-to-day operations over there. Married Little Miss Generate, 1988, 87. Stephanie Hebert, been married for 15 years now. I got one of the future councilwomen for Iberia Parish, my daughter, Annie Pellerin. I serve on Iberia Parish Planning and Zoning Commission, serve as chairman of the Planning Commission, past president of Iberia Rod and Gun Club, president of CIFA. I got involved civically very young. After high school, I played ball in Lydia all my life. After that, I wanted to get involved, so I started coaching Little League in Lydia. I coached Little League in Lydia for, 6 or 7 years, coaching many kids in there, many kids from Lydia, Grand Mary, Generate, all over there. And then after that, I looked into running back in, I think it was 15, and I got involved with Iberia Planning and Zoning. And I'm still on Planning and Zoning. In 19, I set up here running for District 11, came up a little short. I got moved to District 10. Now here I am trying to run for District 10.
Thank you to the organizers and sponsors for tonight's informational panel. Most importantly, thank you to all in attendance tonight and the online viewers for the due diligence prior to the election on October 14th. I am Courtney Broussard Fitch, a candidate for Iberia Parish Council District 12. I am married to Tyler Fitch, a lifelong resident of Jeanneret and the mother of 2 boys. I'm a minority small business owner, wife, mother, and a dedicated servant throughout the community. I currently serve as a commissioner for Iberia Parks and Recreation, a director for the Louisiana Sugarcane Fair and Festival Association, a member of the Grand Marais Mardi Gras Association, a graduate of Leadership Iberia 22, and a recipient of the Daily Iberian Top 20 Under 40 Young Adult Community Leaders Award. The opportunity has come for me to fill a void of absence, and to ensure fairness across District 12, regardless of who you are. I believe my years of investing into our community, both civically and personally, has provided me with the insight of why it is important to remain optimistic when navigating the challenges that evolve serving as your voice for District 12. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lady Fontenette Brown, and I currently serve as your District 12 Councilwoman. 4 years ago, when I participated in this forum, I was more slim and trim, but due to COVID-19, I've gained some extra pounds, but all that means is it's more of me to go around. As your District 12 Councilwoman, I want you to know that District 12 is very special to me. It's where my umbilical cord is buried. It's where my parents lived. It's where my grandmother, Miss Marjorie, and my grandfather, Mr. Gabi Fontenette, who was very instrumental in the farming industry and created some of the inventions that are still used today in farming. He loved his Jeanneret, and that's where he resided. It is my vision to continue to attract businesses such as Delta Biofuel that has made a $100 million investment in District 12. I'm on a mission to continue to solicit for businesses that are engaged in the advancement of sugarcane technology. This $100 million investment that Delta Biofuel made for District 12 will create new jobs, and I would like to continue my mission of going after new businesses and new jobs for District 12.
Good evening. First off, I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event, and I want to thank everyone for coming. My name is Cayman Krappel, and I'm running for District 13 Parish Council. I'm married to Casey McDonald, and I have attended Delcombe High School. I'm currently serving as a commissioner on the Economic Development Authority here in Iberia Parish. And while being on that board, I decided I wanted to get more involved and try to make that change that people are looking for. I have the energy to fight for what we need, and I would be honored to represent District 13. Thank you.
For those of you who may not know me, my name is Chris Feller. I'm a native of New Iberia. I'm a former law enforcement officer of Iberia and several other surrounding parishes. Former volunteer firefighter. I'm a U.S. Army combat veteran. And I'm the owner of 2 Louisiana-based oil and gas companies. My time in the military taught me how to work with others as a team. I think that will be beneficial working with the other council members. And my time in law enforcement also gave me the experience, to experience the different diversities within a community. My business experience has allowed me the opportunity to plan, budget, and see through projects in the multi-million-dollar ranges. So I believe that those experiences speak for itself, and they'll be beneficial to our parish and to our district. Thank you.
Question number 1, we'll start with you, Mr. Ronsonet. What about your education, experience, and background makes you the best qualified candidate?
If you go to education, definitely having at US taking not only accounting, but something that's not taught anymore is economics, okay? And when I'm going back to high school level. A lot of people don't understand the word inflation. You know, I'll start with that, and I mean that in Iberia Parish as a whole. We need to understand inflation going forward, because this parish council is supposed to be strategic. When I say inflation, everybody thinks of what? The price of water went up 25%, a truck went up 25%. That's not inflation, that's symptoms of inflation. But we need to be aware that every time the federal government throws money into it, that's gonna come down the pipe, and we need to plan for that, okay? Keep that in mind. Also, as far as my past work performance, I've done a lot of lean manufacturing training, okay? What that is waste minimization, that's process improvements. I can bring that to the table. There's techniques, there's tricks, there's different things you can implement, and Public Works would probably be the best place you can implement this in. You can do it in an office setting, but I could bring that to the table and hopefully help Public Works as far as, you know, they tend to drive a lot, the waste management, moving vehicles, moving equipment, moving stuff. We can plan around that a little better if they would allow me to get involved a little better. Other than that, that's about it. The waste minimization is the key I can bring to the table. Thank you.
Repeat the question, please.
What about your education, experience, and background makes you the best qualified candidate?
My education experience is real-world training, basically. I did go to University of General Motors in management when I was working at the dealership at J.P. Thibodeau. It's a course that has a program where you can understand the financial applications of a business as well as the management part of personnel. Far as the real-world experience, you know, my opportunities for me to travel through different meetings across the country with National Organization of Accountants and the Police Jury Association allowed me to attend educational courses basically designed for local government. These courses and educational materials that I'm able to access through these organizations helps me tremendously in understanding the needs of local government and the availability of funding sources, whether it's in the state capital or if it's in Washington, D.C. And those courses actually help me to do a better job as parish council. In order to focus also on the administration as well as building those relationships with federal officials as well as state officials by attending these meetings. Also, that it allows me to understand the financial aspect of local government, understanding budgets, understanding the laws involving the fairness of sharing those tax dollars, you know, throughout the parish government agencies. So basically, my experience throughout the 8 years I have served as parish council will continue to guide me throughout the next 4 years as serving as a parish council in District 10. Thank you.
I went through the Iberia Parish school system. I was one of those students that knew I wasn't going to college. So back when I was in school, they had the career campus, and we still had those industrial arts and drafting and stuff in school. So I took all those courses to prepare me for my future in the cabinet business. Now I run the day-to-day operations on the cabinet business, so I know what it takes to run a business. I know what the taxes and different prices, everything going up has a burden on the businesses. I'm also chairman of planning and zoning, so I know how to deal with the public. I know how to make those tough decisions day in and day out. We have a lot of tough decisions that come through with the planning department, and you're always going to have a winner and you're always going to have a loser, and most of those things. So I think that has prepared me a lot to take the next step on the Iberia Parish Council. And my leadership skills, I've always been a leader in anything I do. I'm not a follower, I'm always a leader. Just with, like I said earlier, coaching baseball in Lydia, you know, I was always a leader there. I did have a short stint working at a casino, I guess back in 2005. I'd work all day at the cabinet shop, and I'd get off at 5, and I'd be at the casino for 6. Within about 2 months of working at the casino, I became a supervisor at the casino. So I have great leadership skills, and I think
all this work ethic that I have trained me to be a leader. So I think with them leadership skills, I'll be great on the council.
So I am a graduate of South Louisiana Community College with an associate's degree in general business, but on the forefront of my everyday life, I own and operate 4 businesses, and 3 of the 4 businesses were bootstrapped, basically. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, that means that I self-financed every business. Going on year 4 of each business, I've seen success. I've made the budgets. I've followed the budgets. I've made the hard decisions, made the sacrifices, made those connections with clients and potential clients, and building a team as well. Building a team, you have to learn how to communicate and work together and, just help everything flow when you can have a team. And that's how I look at the Parish Council, as a team for Iberia Parish, to work together for change, for better. And then as my background and just who I am as a person, when I put my mind to something, I'm determined. I'm not going to just, slack off or anything. Like, I'm going to be determined to find an answer. If I don't know the answer, then I'm going to do the proper research and come back to you with something. So I guess just my will of determination and willingness to work together, be present, be consistent would make me a great candidate for District 12. Thank you.
My background is event management, and there's no I in event management. So I think the most important aspect of serving on the council is being able to work with individuals, being able to move a project forward collectively, being able to be effective, even if at times you're not present. I still think that you can still be effective if you are knowledgeable and if you have relationships with your council members to move the vision forward, to move your vision forward. I also believe, with my background as event management, it takes all components, all different type of people to see the vision come to fruition. And so, same as government, it's not just me, it's we're a team, and we have to continue to move our vision forward collectively. Thank you.
Serving on the Economic Development Board, I've learned a lot about government, how state funding works, bonding out, and the best part about how slow government works. I've noticed unity is a big thing, and when any entity, government entity, or any entity works together, we can make things change. After high school, I went to the farming business, farming sugarcane, and then eventually joining the family business. While in the family business, I will be easily accessible, and I will be able to help the needs of all the people in District 13. I will fight to bring change, and I stand up for the people in my district. It's time new ideas be brought to the table, and we work to put trust back in government. Thank you.
I believe my experience and my time in the military, as we all know, in the military we have to be a team, and that's what you are. You don't go into combat and come back all alone. You're working together as a team, and that's what it takes with council. Each one of these guys, you're dependent on each one of the other council member, or men or women, as a team. You can't do it on your own. I'm not going to be able to pass anything on my own. It's going to take the help. So you have to learn as a team. My experience, again, as a law enforcement officer, teamwork. As a military, teamwork. We were in military intelligence. We did a lot. We relied on our team members. Additionally, my time as a business owner, I've owned several businesses, 2 of which are oil and gas. So one of those businesses, we extract oil and gas. We're constantly looking at the market and reselling, and the other side of it is oil and gas consulting. So saying that, when we consult, we do multi-million-dollar projects. So we have to bid on that. We have to price it out, put an AFE together, which is an allocated fund. And we have to make sure that we can take care of that client and do that job within that budget we set and do it proficiently, work out all the logistics, and come in under budget. We want to do it right, and we got to look at it in the best way is to make your project safe for all, and the end result be what we need. So having that said, when we look at roads, we're going to look at drainage. All that takes your team. You got to work together with the other councilmen as a team to get it done. Because it's not just my district. It's not just District 13. It's all the districts. So if we want to make Iberia a better place, we got to work together as a team to get it done. Again, no one can do it on their own. And so I'm going to use that experience as running my businesses the same way as I would do it for you in the district. Thank you.
I guess I would have to say my knowledge and experience. I was born and raised on a sugarcane farm. At an early age, I was always taught to work for what you want. Don't learn how to get things done on your own, and don't wait for nobody to do it. I later took that knowledge to my current position, where we faced on a daily basis customers calling us to move oversized cargo from point A to point B, things that other people can't do. At the end of the day, I mean, we put a plan together, we execute it, and then at the end of the day, we always come out on top, and we're successful doing it. We've been successful over the last several years doing it. A lot of times you just gotta think outside the box, and just come up with different things, different ways you can execute stuff. I guess I would like to bring that knowledge and leadership to the council of thinking outside the box and doing things that other people say can't be done. So, thank you.
Question number 2 will start with you, Mr. Olivier. What are 3 biggest issues facing Iberia Parish, and what and how would you address each?
3 biggest issues first in Iberia Parish that became it is our roads. We have a real serious problem with roads in Iberia Parish. Due to the lack of funding, we have to find funding sources to actually repair the some 30 miles of roads that we have to repair in Iberia Parish. The second thing would be water. Everybody wants clean water. You know, we had several issues with water in the Coteau area of the parish. The parish is investing quite a bit of money in improving our water services in that area. That's a big issue, that people want clean, affordable drinking water. The other thing is drainage. Drainage is something that we have to continue working on as well. There's a lot of issues with drainage, especially now that you're seeing the changes in the sea level caused by our tidal influence, with the tidals coming in, filling our channels up with water during a south wind or some type of small storm event. Building flood control structures is something I'm really advocating for, particularly in my district. Trying to keep our channels dry, so when we do have a 5-inch rain, we have a capacity for that runoff to go into, instead of backing up in our backyards. So that is the 3 top issues that I'm actually like to deal with in Iberia Parish. Of course, there's many others, like broadband. You know, we have to expand broadband as well. The other thing is continue working on infrastructure, job creations, things like that. Those things are important for our families and our kids. Too many of our kids are leaving this area to get jobs outside of the new Iberia Parish. We need to retain our workforce here. Our kids graduating with engineering degrees and things like that, so we need to find work for our children to stay here and live and raise their family in Iberia Parish. Thank you.
Roads, roads, roads. So I sat up here 4 years ago, and that was the biggest issue, roads. Here we are, 4 years later, roads. We haven't come up with an idea. Every candidate that sat up here 4 years ago, well, for every district, it was roads. And here we are 4 years later, and we still don't have a solution for roads. We have to come up with a solution. We have to find a dedicated funding source. Do I have all the answers? I do not. But I'm willing to work with everyone in the parish to find those answers. We need to fix these roads. You fix the roads, you'll fix a lot of problems. One of the other problems is our out-migration. I graduated with a class of probably 515. If 70 of them still live in the parish, we'll be lucky. They all moving out. Fix the roads, attract the businesses, you'll stop that problem. Drainage and flooding. We all know we have drainage and flooding situations. We have miles and miles of canals that need to be dug, cleaned up, roadside drainage. We don't have the manpower. Public Works is down to 20-something people maybe. We just don't have the manpower. I know recently I think Mr. Matram set a resolution to outsource it to other people. That's a great idea. We need to do something. If we don't fix the roads and the drainage, we won't have a parish anymore. But if you fix the roads and the drainage, you'll stop that out migration, because you'll get your businesses coming back here, and your younger generation will not leave.
I mean, I don't want to beat on a dead horse, but yeah, roads. Of course, that is a major issue. I will applaud, our mayor for the city of New Iberia, and when I seen his video traveling down the roads, I could so relate to it. I think working together with the city, and formulating a plan together, maybe piggyback on their ideas and how they're implementing change. And I think it's really just time to bring it back to the public vote. They've been voicing it for years that we don't have a dedicated road tax, but which is due to the tax failed when it was on the ballot. I think it's time to bring it back. So working together with the council to make sure that that is the right method for it to happen, but also just retain accountability and trust from the public, knowing that when they vote for it, it's implemented, and then the funds are going to be used correctly. And once we all see the change and improvements, it should all just grow from there. Another big one would be trash and waste collection being dumped in the sugarcane fields throughout the parish. My husband and my father are both sugarcane farmers. My husband farms about 4,000 acres, and majority of it is within District 12, and the amount of tires, mattresses, dressers, toilets, the accumulation is beyond. Sometimes it's just waste from your household, and I'm like, why not just use your trash can? So I think we need to maybe find a solution, work to where there's more collection days, roadside days, maybe communicate as to why come here. You're still having to haul it to a location, so can we just bring it to the proper location? And then lastly, I would say internet, as Mr. Eugene stated. I live in the country, I've lived in the country my whole life, and the lack of internet has always been an issue. And when COVID came, it was a bigger issue, because then you had to do all your schoolwork at home, and without proper internet, it caused a disruption. So together, I think everyone has great ideas, but it just needs to be implemented. Thank you.
Serving as District 12 Councilwoman, the biggest issue that I have received from constituents is drainage. I know drainage and dredging is a serious issue. And just recently, our Public Works Director, Mr. Dexter, stated in the last council meeting that we just don't have the manpower nor the equipment to properly clean and dredge the ditches. So that's, to me, priority number one for the district. I also believe jobs. What is the purpose of having clean ditches if we don't have anyone here to because there's a lack of jobs that are in the area. But I do believe that with this council, we are moving in the right direction and bringing jobs back into Iberia Parish. We just got $1 billion investment for a solar panel manufacturing plant. District 12 will have indirect and directly 275 new jobs from the $100 million investment from Delta Biofuel. And the average salary will be $62,000. So I think that is a sign that this council is moving in the right direction to eradicate some of the issues, the main issues in the parish. Also, trash. Even if we clean the ditches, dredge the ditches, if we're not properly disposing of waste, then the problem is going to come back. So I think proper disposal of trash and also making sure that we do not litter our district would help alleviate some of the issues.
I'll have to agree with Brock on some of these. I think roads, drainage, and infrastructure. You know, economic development is a big driver. It's a big solution that could fix a lot of our problems. But without the infrastructure, I think we can't get the businesses in here and we can't get the people in here. You know, infrastructure as far as water, sewage, and gas. The air base is a big asset to us, and we need to utilize that area. The infrastructure, if we can put it in, and everything takes a while, when businesses want to come here, they want to come here now, not later. And we need to have that infrastructure in place to where when they want to come, we're ready for them. And, you know, sometimes in government, putting in infrastructure can take years. So we lose out on a lot of big economic things that, you know, they can't come here because we don't have what they need. Thank you.
For me, the three biggest issues facing our community, and they've already said it, is roads is number one. We all know that's a big one. People are leaving. We're tearing up our vehicles. It's costing you directly in your pocketbook. Every day you drive on it, you're beating up the front of your vehicle. It's going to cost you money. We need to fix our roads. The only way to do that is going to be with a tax. That's for another question, I'm sure. Drainage is an issue as well. We don't have good drainage. Without good drainage, your ditches flood during rains. That flood water soaks underneath the roads, making the edge of your roads weak. They start to fall apart. If you notice on the roads you're driving on, most of your edges of the roads is what's torn up, and that's because of poor drainage for the most part. Now, we can talk about our levees and our floodgates. That's all part of it. But for me, you know, we need our economic development. You know, Mr. Kamen mentioned the air base, and he's absolutely right. And there's another part of it. It's called the Port of Iberia. We need to dredge this. We need to bring opportunity to bring, you know, commercial investment into our ports. You know, I want to talk about something else that affects us when we talk about this drainage and flooding and digging canals that allows for drainage as well. And that's where it's hitting you in your pocketbook, you, me, and everyone else in this parish, especially your low-lying areas, is your homeowner's insurance. Because of the situation we're in with drainage, because of the situation we're in with no floodgates and different issues, our homeowner's insurance, most of you have been affected. I can guarantee it's probably raised by 2/3. And that hurts us individually. As a council, I believe that we can get together, not one person, but I believe with the experience of the other council members who have been there, we can all get together and come up with a plan to get this done and lower the amount of finances coming out of our pockets as individuals.
I'd have to say the same as the other people up here. I mean, number one, roads, and probably number two, drainage and public works. For roads, I mean, both the parish and city recently had things on the ballot that didn't pass, and simply think because the people is not educated, and they kind of lost the trust over the last few years in the parish with their money. Recently, you can see the changes in the city. I mean, they found some money. They paving roads. They showing the people of the city that they want to help. They want to do improvements. I think we need to do the same thing on the parish level. I mean, we find money to fund different projects here and there. We need to find funds to, even if we got to do one road, show the people that you want to help, and then come back after that and maybe possibly pass a tax. I think the city is going to be very successful passing the tax coming up because they're showing the people what they're doing with the money, and they want to help. So next is, like I said, drainage. I mean, public works is real short on people. I mean, we need to figure out funds for that and get more people in public works where we can keep up our drainage and get everything cleaned and go from there. So, thanks.
All right, let's do it again. Roads. Now, I'm going to offer y'all a possible solution. Okay, next year, everybody needs to keep in mind what we have coming up. We have the library millage, we have the public buildings millage, we have the drainage millage, we have the health unit millage, okay? For the past 4 years, all I keep hearing is, why did y'all build libraries? Why y'all didn't fix roads? Well, libraries passed, roads failed, right? So I suggest we put them all together. We're going to put roads next to it. And it offers everybody that votes a solution to any problem you want, or you kill them all. Now, if you kill them all, I'm coming back to you, and I'm going to beg you to pass them again. But what it allows is, okay, the people that want roads, I'll vote for roads, and I'll kill the libraries, and I'll kill the roads or whatever. But we're going to give everybody that's been complaining for 4 years, 8 years, here's your chance. And I'm talking and looking at a lot of the councilmen on the current council, hope they follow that suggestion. Drainage. Drainage, we've been hearing the same thing in the council meetings. I don't have the people, I don't have the people, I don't have the people. 2 weeks ago, I offered, I said, let's get some sprint capacity built into the budget. And believe it or not, you already have it in the budget. You have not hired people for, we're on what, 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is. So you have some money right there. Why are we not giving our employees 5% overtime? You're paying all these leases, you're paying all this equipment to move around. It's worth you, it benefits you to pay them that little bit of overtime. That way you don't hire a person. Everybody that runs a business knows that there is extra cost when you hire a new person, whether it be Social Security, Medicare, other costs involved. It is worth it and beneficial to pay them a small amount of overtime. I'm not talking 20 hours overtime a week, 40 hours a week. It might just be 5%, but it's worth it. And the optimization of those leases on that big equipment we paying, you get better optimization, you get better. I'm going back to the waste minimization process. Okay, we're not moving equipment every morning, 8 o'clock to 8:30, 9 o'clock, moving diesel. Your waste minimization, and then I'll go with the job creation. We need to keep that job diversification going. I'm trying to talk quick. The solar panels. I sat here 8 years ago and talked about diversification, and here we are. We're finally there. We need to keep going towards the air base and the port. Thank you.
Question number 3, we'll start with you, Mr. Pellerin. Given the past issues we have had with drainage in our parish, what would you do in the future to address drainage?
I just kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. Our drainage issues, we have major drainage issues. We are working with some floodgates from some CPRA money and installing some floodgates for the tidal water. We need to get on top of those projects and watch those projects closely and make sure they get done in a timely manner. Public Works, we have to fund Public Works. You know, you got 10 tractors, you got 20 guys, you're using up the whole crew to cut grass. You know, you don't have nobody on an excavator cleaning ditches. We have to fund Public Works. We have to find some money, fund Public Works, like Scott said, hire some more guys, get some quotes, outsource it. That's the only way we're going to get it done. We have so many miles of canals, roadside ditches in the parish that hadn't been dug in years. It builds up. By the time you dredge all the canals, dig all the canals, it's time to go back and do it again because we just don't have enough manpower to dig all the canals we need to. And if we're not on top of it, we're fighting a losing battle. So I think we need to find money, get money into the Public Works Department so we can have the manpower to dig the ditches.
My overview of how to implement and help with the drainage, my godfather, Herman Broussard, he was the director of Public Works for a long time, and he's been retired for maybe 5 years now. And I remember, many years now, he's been talking about the workforce. There's hardly any, they're scrapping up what they can with who they have. And they always, then they had a freeze on hiring, so it limited being able to hire more people, but you can hire as many people as you want. You just have to have qualified candidates. So are we just lacking within the parish qualified individuals that can come in and be beneficial to help with drainage? I do think that maybe we could, the community school, SLCC, is there a heavy equipment operator instructional course that you can take to get certified and help move forward? Working together, there has to be some plan, and then maybe we can look at neighboring towns and parishes and see, what works for them, what doesn't, because obviously drainage is big. You can't correct it on one side of town and then you flood the other side of town. You kind of have to let it all flow out to where, no one's really affected and then someone else gets an advantage. So, being elected to be your voice, I think just working together as a team with the council as a whole, because everyone's district matters. Thank you.
Drainage isn't just an issue in District 12. Drainage is actually an issue in lots of towns in America. I think the best way to start tackling the issue with drainage is to bring in is to bring in additional help, whether it's a contractor or a company that can lend a helping hand and starting the process of cleaning the ditches and bringing in that extra manpower. And then once they do their job, then we, by that time, we'll have, hopefully more funding to maybe increase the salary of public workers, of our Public Works Committee, which in hand would also allow us to get, bring it in, if we would increase the salary of some of our public work servants, which would actually, probably motivate them to work a little longer with their hours. And then also, I think if we found that budget and we allowed just to have, if we were allowed to have more funding for public works and for the workers and for the initiatives needed to start dredging the ditches and to continue to keep them clean. Thank you.
I will say, in District 13, drainage is a big problem. The parish is putting in floodgates, which I think will help for rainwater. But Public Works is where we really need help. We either need to bring in outside contractors that can help us dig ditches and do things. And, putting trust back in government pretty much starts with Public Works. The people see their medians not cut, and the people see their ditches not dug. And that's where you get the no trust in government. So I think Public Works is a start, and we need to help them out in that department. Thank you.
I have to agree with what Cayman said. However, to be able to accurately answer that question, I would have to confer with the current council, city and parish. You'd have to get their thoughts and see what's going on in their areas. And then you got to be able to work with those other councils and members to come up with a viable solution. As one of the other members said here on the board, that one area is going to affect another. So you can't just go out and start digging one area, one person's home, because there's enough complaints on this road, without taking into consideration what that is affecting on the next road and flood the next people out. So, to answer that question properly, you have to confer with the other council members who've been there, who's been experiencing this for the last 4 years and more. And they have experience in where they can dig things and what they have dug and how it changes the other areas. So they've learned from experience. So I'm afraid I would have to go by some of their experience as well to give you an adequate and a viable solution. And that's what we need to do, is work together to do that and get everyone's thoughts. Thank you.
To go with the same thing everybody else is saying. Public Works, we need more workforce, more operators, more tractor drivers and all that stuff. We need to come up with dedicated funds to fund that, or even, like you said, outsource the work. Outsourcing the work, sometimes it does come in a little cheaper. You just use them when you need them, and then you get rid of them, finish the project. You don't have that burden of equipment and employees on a full-time basis. Like I said earlier, thinking outside the box. Some of y'all might say I'm crazy, but I don't know if we ever looked at even doing like a work release program with the jail. We got the litter abatement. Why don't we get some of these guys to operate some of the equipment? A lot of the guys in there, some of the best workers on the sugarcane farms was inmates that went back and forth to jail all the time. They can operate this equipment and do things, but it's just thinking outside the box. I don't even know if that's possible, but just my thoughts. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to go back where I started. And I'm going to talk about the people we can't hire. There's a reason you can't hire them. You can't pay them enough, right? So if you go back to where I started with inflation. The Federal Reserve bought 40% of the debt issuance last quarter. For those of y'all not paying attention, that means you cannot export your inflation. Your inflation's coming down the pipe, okay? So if we don't hire some people through what we're paying them now, guess what? We're not going to be able to afford the people that in 6 months from now. So you're going to have to pay them overtime. You just as soon get over it. You have the money in the budget. It creates your sprint capacity. And stop beating that dead horse. That's 18 months I've been hiring, we can't hire somebody. And we keep trying it. The same job openings have been there. We need to, let's open it up a little bit, 5%, 10%, retain your employees you have, and then the spring capacity takes care of the two problems. One's coming down the pipe and one is here right now. Other than that, you know, I've thought of, I got an ex-farmer next to me. I talked about thinking out the box that way. You have farmers that have some dead time along the way. Before there was a government, you think about who dug the ditches. Farmers, right? This was a farming community. So why not, if they have some time, you figure out, okay, a linear mile cost, I'm just gonna throw a number, $500. You ask that farmer, okay, you maintain that lateral for me, we'll go get the main, and then you take care of your farm, your plots, and they all tie in. You know, we'll maintain the slash buster part, the harder part, and we'll contract, which we are already in the process of doing sometimes. We contract out the long boom, just because we don't have not only the people, the equipment, that takes a lot of time to move that around. But, you know, I'm gonna beat that dead horse there. That sprint capacity is key right now. We have the money there. It's in the budget. It's under employee expense, and it's tied to the extra employees, but we can rob that right now, give it to them the rest of the year, especially with the holidays coming up, and it's gonna start raining one day, hopefully. Thank you.
We must continue working to install these flood control structures in Iberia Parish. These structures doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. Basically, CPRA is paying for them as well as Go Mesa funding. If anything, we pay for the engineering and design, which the last structure we put in on Jefferson Canal, they actually took care of the engineering fee on that one. Now, in the past 8 years since I've been elected, we did clean quite a few major drainage channels. We have quite a bit of improvement on water flow in some of our bigger channels. A lot of that water flows from out of the city into the rural part of the parish, and then to where it's supposed to go in our bayous and in our other lakes, or goes to the Gulf or commercial canal. What I do is, after a major rain event, I actually go around identifying bottlenecks in my district to make sure that, you know, I can work with Public Works about removing these debris that's clogging up these culverts and so forth, that causing drainage to back up in our communities in District 10. Lack of personnel, of course, is an issue. Our pay scale for our employees needs to be upgraded. We currently use something called the Archer study. The Archer study haven't been updated in probably some 15, 16 years since we had this program put in place in our local government. That needs to be updated. I had several conversations with the administration about it, and hopefully we can get some traction on it and try to get this Archer study updated so we can pay our employees a fair salary where we can be competitive with the private market. We have employees, you know, we hire, we train them for a year, and they'll take off and leave to go to a private market to make more money. That's what's happening with a lot of our employees. We're just not paying them enough to keep them in our local government. Today's employee, they don't look at the benefits, they look at the paycheck. So even though we got great benefits, they really want a higher wage to do the work. To improve the budget, it's going to take a lot of effort with the council to improve the budget and change it. Thank you.
Question number 4, we'll start with you, Ms. Fitch. Do you believe lawsuits against industry harm Iberia Parish's economy? Will you work to prevent or stop coastal lawsuits in Iberia Parish? Why or why not?
Yes, I absolutely think that lawsuits against businesses, you know, has a harm, but then I guess it just depends on the full disclosure of it. You know, I mean, accidents happen, you know, lawsuits happen, but I think publicizing it on every road and every highway and every parish in Iberia definitely doesn't help anything. I think that's more of an issue that's on the state level of things, that, you know, they can directly attack that issue, and because, I mean, it's a problem across Louisiana as a whole. I travel across Louisiana a lot, and it's all over. It's encouraging lawsuits, so we need to disencourage lawsuits. I feel like, you know, once you disencourage lawsuits, and then maybe businesses feel confident, you know, to be able to invest here, strive here, and continue to be here. But we can't say, like, okay, come over, but you have a 90% chance of having a lawsuit, and then you're back to square one and then you relocate to somewhere else. So I definitely think that maybe working with the state level of government on the parish council, there can be some sort of a solution, but on the local level of things, unless I'm just not aware of it, I'm not sure how much control or say we would have in that. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Do you believe lawsuits against industry harm Iberia Parish's economy? Will you work to prevent or stop coastal lawsuits in Iberia Parish? Why or why not?
Okay, and when you say industry, are you referring to the oil industry and all of the lawsuits that have been occurring with the oil industry? Or are you just speaking of any industry, a wide range of industries?
Just industry in general in Iberia Parish.
Okay, so, I'm not I think I would leave that to an attorney to determine, because I think it's based on the severity of the lawsuit and the reason behind the lawsuit. Some lawsuits may be justifiable, some may not, so I don't think I'm at my disposal to, pretty much determine which lawsuit is worth pursuing and which one isn't. And that's my answer.
I do believe that lawsuits hurt our parish. I think it's a statewide problem. I think that's something that we would have to work with our legislators to fix, or at least make better. You go on 90 and every other billboard is a lawsuit, and it's against a trucking company or some other company. And companies see that, and what they get out of that is, don't go there because you will get sued. So, I think it does hurt us over here in Iberia Parish, and I think it's something we need to work with our legislators and look into.
I'm with Cayman. I can't say anything different. I believe that these lawsuits hinder businesses from coming to Iberia. I believe that. I believe that it's, like he said, a statewide, I think it's a nationwide problem. Certain states have banned advertisements for attorneys, billboards and whatnot. I think Iberia, if I were to do something, I'd be looking at a ban on billboards. Whether it's automotive accidents, oil and gas industry, whatever the incident is, I think these advertising, hey, I'll get you money, I think is a problem. And I think that's what it does, is it just initiates somebody saying, oh, I'm suing. This raises all of our rates, from automotive to your homeowners, your general liability. It hurts businesses badly on their GL. One little reported incident that most of the time is fruitless lawsuits, and they settle just because it's easier to settle than go to court. However, it still raises that business's general liability, and it makes it difficult in an already demanding economy. So yes, I think it hinders them, and I would look toward banning these advertisements, putting a ban on them. Thank you.
Same thing. I have to agree. It does hurt businesses around here. Actually, businesses leave here because of the Sue Happy type of thing that we do around here. They go to Texas. But again, I have to agree with everybody else too. I think that's more or less on a state level. We have to just work with our people in Baton Rouge, and anything we can do on the parish level to help them out with it, we can assist with it. Thanks.
I'm gonna have to agree somewhat. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna go somewhere y'all not expecting. First, from a local level, yes. When you're talking small businesses need to be protected more than anything, because they don't have the capacity, they don't have the volume to absorb that kind of lick. Even though it's an insurance, somebody makes a claim against you, your insurance is going up, your workman's comp's going up, something is going up, you will pay that claim. It might take 10 years, but it will. Now, the reason I said I'm gonna go somewhere that y'all not expecting is we got to make sure we don't get the big companies, and this is where y'all don't expect the big pharma, okay? When big pharma puts out certain drugs, they are protected just because they know they have the money to back up the lawsuits. And I'm saying big pharma, but it goes for any big corporation. They have they're the big bully on the street. So you got to be careful when you say, I don't want to do lawsuits. I'm talking for the small business owner. I agree 100%, but you got to be careful that you don't give the bully the horn, because if not, you might get the horn, okay? But yeah, from a local level, even your smaller companies on your coast and your oil field and your farmers and whatnot, yes, I do agree that it needs to be curtailed, but once again, it's going to be a state level. We have no jurisdiction in that department by any means. We would have to work with our delegation, representatives, Senate, and then you would need a governor on board, and you don't have that one right now, just to give you a heads up. Thank you.
Lawsuits does hurt the parish when it comes to business. But if a company follows the policies in the past, federal policies or state policies, when they're doing work like oil companies has been doing for many years in Louisiana, we shouldn't punish them if they was following the policies of the state of Louisiana or our local government. But going forward, if we change those policies, they should be held accountable for those new policies that's set in place. But at the same time, we must protect our citizens from harm, of course. If there's an oil spill or something like that, they have to be accountable for what they're doing out there and the damage they cause. And if they don't correct the problem, then a lawsuit would be justified in those circumstances. But most businesses like oil companies, they do have grant programs, to help coastal restoration and to help our marshes come alive again, to bring wildlife back and so forth, to help our fisheries. But, a lot of damage was done during the oil boom on our coasts. I've seen a lot of waste pits being dug too along the marsh and so forth, but those companies are long gone right now. So the responsibilities like orphan wells to be sealed falls on the federal government now through grant programs, which is in the infrastructure bill. But in rare cases, yes, we do have to hold these companies accountable, but only if they're not following policies or regulations set by the federal government or the state. Thank you.
That question kind of came out of left field. But yes, these lawsuits are definitely hurting the parish locally, statewide. Just last year, I had a cousin has a sugarcane farm, and he had a wreck, and it was a fatality, and he was not at fault whatsoever, and they're going through a lawsuit right now. And it hurts everybody locally. And I kind of like what Chris said about the billboards. I mean, you go down 90 from here to Youngsville, and I think Garden got maybe 21 of them. Every time you turn around, you see a billboard with lawsuits on it. That's kind of a good idea, maybe looking at abandoning some of those billboards. But like everyone said, man, this is something that we got to tackle at a state level. Locally, we can only do so much. So we need to work with our state delegation and get some kind of tort reform on these insurance companies. And look, when we got people, big businesses coming down here, and IDF and them driving around showing them sites, and all they see is these billboards, people don't want to come here. They know it's a sue-happy place, and just the minute something happens, accidents happen, and somebody wants to get a lawsuit in. So this is something I think we definitely need to look at statewide, on the state level, and maybe get involved locally and see what we can do locally. I think our hands are kind of tied with that kind of stuff, but working with our state delegation and getting them on top of this, I think would help out and get some of them lawsuits under control.
Question number 5, we'll start with you, Ms. Brown. We are continuing to lose our youngest and brightest to other cities and states. What would you propose to do to keep this demographic here in Iberia Parish?
I think Mr. Eugene spoke about this not too long ago. Pretty much we have to have job creation. We have to, do our best to try to attract businesses to Iberia Parish. And once we attract these businesses, I think it's very important, though, that we collaborate with SLCC and make sure that our workforce is skilled to be able to fill the new jobs that come to the area. So I think if individuals believe that they would, secure a great job and be able to be properly trained for that job, I think that would help with keeping our most talented folks local.
I will say jobs, jobs, jobs. So our youth don't have anything to look forward to once getting out of high school. All our oil and gas moved to West Texas, and we don't have much left over here. So, I think we need to work on our one step at a time. We need to take things one by one, and we need to work on economic development, bringing jobs back here, bringing houses back here. And, I think bringing jobs here, we have other obstacles that we need to cross before we can bring jobs here. But I think jobs is the main cause why we lose our youth. They go for more money, or they go for a better life somewhere else.
Although jobs are a big part of it, a major part of it, it's what keeps me from moving here, or someone like me with a family from wanting to move here. Jobs are scarce. We need them. We need economic development, true. But I want to talk about something we really need. There's no way my wife, your wife, or any of you would move out here or would let you move here and bring your kids here in a place that we have so much youth violence, because we have nothing for them youth to do. That's where it starts before they go into the workforce. Let's look at what they're doing and what they have for them, the opportunities that are there to get them to that workforce. And then, where's our youth programs? My wife would not let me move to a place like this had we not already lived here with our kids. Let's be real about that, no matter what the job looks like. We have to take care of our youth. They are our future. I was one time my father's kid, and someone else was sitting up here, and now I'm looking at being your representative, your voice. Something kept my father here to raise his child, but these times are changing, and we don't have that for our kids here. Look at the amount of violence. We need to face that. That's where you want to keep your kids here, you want to keep talent here, you want to keep people here, you want to bring them here to all these jobs we're trying to raise. Fix the violence, fix the problem, give the youth something to do. We're trying our best. I know the council has, and so I can't say anything about that. They have tried. They have done things for Parks and Recreation. I know that we've tried, other businesses have come in and tried to do things for the kids, right? And I know that we have problems. We have other problems that stop that we're dealing with youth outside of what we can do to give them something to do. There's already some bad streets, but it starts somewhere. And that's where I think we need to focus to start with. We do need jobs. We do need economic development, but we need something for our future, our kids. Thank you.
Same thing. I think we need jobs, give them something to do, give them a reason to stay here. But it all goes back to everything we were talking about. I mean, jobs, we need to have the infrastructure and the roads, and that'll bring the jobs back. Get jobs, it'll attract more people to stay here or come back. And I think if we do all that, I mean, that'll fix the problem with the people leaving. If we let's address everything that we've pretty much been talking about. So, thank you.
All right, I'll start with I'll call it the mom want. What do moms want, right? They want safety, good schools, recreation. I think District 9 has all that down, right? So right now we have a lot of people moving in. And it all goes back to the school. If you can create the school and the education system that these kids want or the moms want, they will follow their mom and their dad's path. And if the mom and dad were educated here and then they went to USL, they'll get a job. It'll be in the off field. They might have to move and come back, but they'll stick around. Believe me, it's in the culture. Once you build the culture, they won't want to leave the culture. Now, second, and I'm going to challenge, not me. Okay, you asking me why kids are leaving. I'm still here. I also have gray hair. Does anybody go into the high school at a senior level, a junior level? I'm going to just pick some schools. Go to Generate, go to Westgate, go to Lowerville, go to senior high. Why you want to leave? The first thing they're going to do is pick up their telephone. Call it a telephone. When's the last time you heard that? They're going to pick up their cell phone and they're going to say, well, I want a job doing gaming. I want a job doing this and that, So we're on the right track, believe it or not, with the solar panels and the different job categories. We need to go a little further, get the kids involved, ask them what they want. Don't ask me what I want. I'm not leaving. They're going to tell you the exact answer that you need, and I don't think we've done that, to be honest. We may have gone to SLCC, but by that point, they're in a class, they're in a trajectory, they have that path. Let's go get them before they want to choose another path that goes to Houston, that goes to Atlanta. I got a brother in North Carolina, you know. Let's go find out what they want, not what I want. Thank you.
Keeping our kids here is important because, you know, I have two sons that ended up moving to, one in West Texas, one in Houston because of jobs. We need to continue, of course, creating jobs here locally, which we are doing with the $1.1 billion first solar manufacturing facility coming, along with the biofuel facility in Patterville, which is coming also. This is going to create opportunity for a lot of our kids and a lot of our families. Those good paying jobs mean that they're going to stick around, and then they're going to build homes here. They're going to pay taxes to help create more income to perform more services for them as well. Just today, I serve on the SLCC Iberia Campus Advisory Board, and just today we were talking about that same issue. That issue is something that the SLCC Advisory Board is very much aware of, and we did work on quite a few solutions to correct this problem. And we will continue to work on solutions to try to work through education, grabbing our kids out of high school, putting out those that don't go to college, because only 15.6% of our high school graduates ended up in college, and a lot of those don't make it the first year. So SLCC is a good stepping stone for them to leave high school, go to an associate degree program, and then move to college and have a better chance of finishing their college career. So we are working on solutions with the SLCC program to make sure that our students, when they're graduating, they have a path to success. And that's what we're going to continue doing. Those good paying jobs, I can tell you right now, there are a lot more companies interested in coming here in the future, but we're going to continue working on that. The Progress Point development, we have now we finally have an industrial park with a ready to build site. And there is a few companies interested in coming there as well. The UL Biomedical Research Center, another $50 million investment that UL is going to be making here in Iberia Parish, expanding the research center here. Those things we must continue. Thank you.
That's a great question, and there's many answers to it, and everyone up here has great ideas. My thing is, I think the younger generation is getting lazier as a society. The jobs, you can bring all the jobs you want here. I think the younger generation are going to Youngsville and Broussard because they want to go around the corner and get supper. They want to go around the corner and get groceries. They don't want to have to get in their car and travel far. As a society, I think we're getting lazier. How to stop that? I have no idea. But going back to the youth, I go back to my years of coaching baseball in Lydia. 10, 15 years ago in that ballpark, you had, 700, 800 kids. We don't have that anymore. I always said Iberia Parish is first to the plate and last to home. And what I mean by that, you look at the Pepperplex. We were the first ones. That was supposed to be the biggest and greatest thing around here. We just didn't have a master plan on it, didn't have the funds to do it. Youngsville passed us up, Broussard passed us up. And I don't know if y'all seen their facility. It's amazing. This younger generation, that's where they want to be. We need to find ways to do things like that to keep the youth involved. And I'm going to piggyback on what Scott said about Lowerville. Lowerville is a great community. They have a lot of involvement. A lot of their residents in the community get involved. We lack that in other places of the parish. That's why everybody's moving to Lowerville. That's why Lowerville's thriving, because the community gets involved. That's what we need. We need a lot more community involvement from the residents of the community to get involved, to keep those people here. And I think that's how we're going to keep our youth here. The jobs will get them here, but I don't think they're going to stay in Iberia Parish. I think they'll go to Youngsville and Broussard. I'm just being a realist. Thank you.
I personally believe that people don't move to Youngsville to go to work. They build homes, they live in Youngsville, and then they work in the neighboring cities and parishes. So obviously there's a formula that's working in Youngsville. They go for the way of life, the conveniences of what's around the corner, what's around the roundabout, the activities that the community puts on, the involvement, the sports, all of that. I think it all just works together, and that's why people stay there. And yeah, they deal with HOAs, but they figure it out. I also truly believe that we can bring as many jobs as we want to this parish, but that does not guarantee that our local residents will be employed. by those companies and corporations that come. They started working on the Delta biofuels. When I visited yesterday, there wasn't a single person working there that was a local resident of Generate. The contractors that are there, you know, they were based out of other cities close to Iberia Parish, but none of their current workers are local residents. So, you know, I think that it really just, you can bring as many jobs, but you can also go out and create your own job. You can be an entrepreneur. You can go to SLCC and get a trade, and you can become a plumber. You can become an HVAC tech. You can become a welder. You don't always have to sit back and wait for a job offer to come out to you. You can go out and create it, make a way of life for your family, and choose to just stay here. So at the end, our youth are going to follow the example that we set as parents. Thank you.
You go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Okay. So in District 12, the reality is a little different for the majority of the individuals that live in that community. We can't just get up for the most part and just create a job, because it's an underprivileged community, and everyone knows that underprivileged communities lack the funding and the resources to create those, a lot of those entrepreneurial jobs. Also, I think in regards to Delta Biofuel, though the contractors may not be local companies, SLCC is hosting a spring job fair in the spring for Delta Biofuel, and they are going to try to offer as many courses and programs as possible to make sure that when the residents of the parish and local residents go and apply for the jobs, that they'll be skilled for whatever openings are available. Thank you.
For the remainder questions, you'll have 60 seconds to answer, and we'll begin with you, Mr. Krappel. With no funding for parish roads, would you support a parish sales tax for parish roads?
You know, I think roads-wise on a tax, we have other ways we can move around it and maybe get some money for roads. So I would say if it comes to that, maybe so. But I think before we do something like that, we need to check out our other avenues and see where we can go before we go and put a tax to the people.
I believe the opposite. I think we're going to have to ask the people for a tax. If I were to sit here and tell you that we're going to fix all the roads in this parish and I'm not going to take any money from you, it's just not realistic. That the parish doesn't have that kind of revenue in here. But we need to get other businesses in here and build economic development up there to get enough taxes to have the resources and the funds to do it without having to ask the people for more money. Realistically, we're going to have to ask for a tax. We're going to have to, it may be small, but it may have to be for a longer bond, say a 10-year bond or something, but we're going to have to go in and ask for a tax. And I'll tell you, you'll get that tax approved if their language is there that says that that money cannot, under any circumstance, be reallocated for any other project, roads and roads alone. I believe if you do that, you bring it to the people, I believe we'll pass that tax and we'll get our roads built.
I would support a tax. At the end of the day, I don't think there's no other way. I mean, you can get some funding other places, but I don't think you're going to fix all our problems with the money we have now. I mean, we need more income coming in. Again, it's not my choice. I mean, it's up to the voters. Their choice whether they want to vote for it or not, but I think we need to do a better job at educating them if we do go that path and decide to put something on the ballot. So, thanks.
Not a sales tax at first. I'd like to go the millage route. That way you give everybody in the parish the opportunity to kill another millage if they want a road millage. They can balance get their need that they want, which is the roads, and kill it the other way. The other thing, I'm going to challenge the people that were here last night. When we go to capital outlay, for whatever reason, all we do is build fire stations, and I'm picking on Lowerville, but we build everything else in the community, but no parish road money is allowed. And I would challenge them to at least put aside 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. Just give us something we may not want a community center. I'm gonna pick on y'all, but the residents want roads, and I'm gonna challenge them to include that in the capital outlay going forward. Thank you.
What I've been doing is, I would definitely agree, I think a sales tax is what we need to improve our roads in Iberia Parish. With 30 miles of roads, we need at least about $30 million to do the amount of roads we have right now currently in Iberia Parish. The average mile of road costs probably about $1.2 million to reconstruct. That's cutting the road down to the base and reconstructing the whole road. So with 30 miles of road, you can put those numbers together and see what kind of money we're looking at. A sales tax, a 0.75 sales tax like we tried to pass a few years back, I think is the route to go. If you look at our sales tax in rural Iberia Parish, you go to Lydia Food Store, you pay 7.7% sales tax. If you go shop at Walmart, you're going to pay 9.45%. So if you add a 0.75 to it, to the Lydia Food Store tax, you're paying 8.45%. Still cheaper than when you go to Walmart and shop. And the sales tax, everybody pays it, because everybody drives on the road to get to those facilities to buy their groceries. Thank you.
Supporting a tax. If it comes down to it, yes. But first, I'd like to look at everything else, see if there's any extra fat we can trim on the budget. We do have a bond that's coming paid off, I think in next year that's going to free up maybe $800,000. So we need to look at other avenues before we put a tax on the ballot. But if we do put a tax on the ballot, like Hubert said, we have to get out and educate the people. We can't just throw it on the ballot and say tax because they're going to go out and vote no because they lost trust in the government. If we put it on a ballot, we got to get out, encourage all the council members to get out and inform them, kind of like our mayor in New Iberia is doing, sit on the corners and meet with them. Sales tax, the thing with the sales tax, you can budget it, but it's so up and down. It's nothing that you can set on. I kind of like Scott's idea with the millage. Let the people decide on which one they want, which one they don't.
Go ahead, Mr. Olivier.
I just got a correction on the bond issue. The bond issue will be paying off next year, although we will be paying it off. That money going to be switched basically to pay off some of the other road debt that we have, that bridge debt. So that money will not be available for us to spend on the roads. Thank you.
I agree with Brock said. If it came down to voting, yes, for a sales tax increase, but I think, first of all, looking at the whole financials altogether and then making the best decision possible. With also what Mr. Eugene said, sales tax comparison from Lydia to New Iberia and all through, I mean, we have the TIF district. You know, there's other avenues where some locations have a small sales tax rate and then others have a larger sales tax rate. We could have a level playing field, and then that's small collections throughout the parish, and which we all travel, and then all together, we can put that towards implementing roads, but also for future maintenance, not just a one-time fix, and then we revisit this issue again in another 40, 50 years. Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Eugene about a sales tax, but my biggest concern about just putting a tax out there is the misinformation and the lack of information that a lot of citizens receive about taxes. Because if you put something on there and they see, okay, it's just a tax, and they don't have the information prior to voting on that tax, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to approve it. And I've noticed just serving these 4 years, one of the major issues with government is the lack of understanding exactly what this tax is for, what's on the ballot, what this is and what that is. And I think I tune into Clay Higgins' town hall meetings, and I've actually attended a few, and I think that it's really great that he comes and he discusses every issue that's on the ballot. Unfortunately, due to COVID, I was not able to implement that, but during this next term, I will definitely implement town hall meetings and discussing what the tax is about and what is on the ballot and what's the issues in our district. Thank you.
We'll now begin with our closing remarks, starting on my right, moving to my left. You want, go ahead and begin, Mr. Feller.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight, whether here in person or internet, TV, radio. Your interest in our local government and undivided attention shows that you're dedicated to our community and as dedicated as I am. So, thank you. If elected to Parish Council, District 13, I work tirelessly with the other council members to address the, pressing issues facing our communities. I'm committed to making our parish a better place for all residents. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. You coming out shows that you care about our parish and you care about the future of it. For too long we've been electing officials that bring the same solutions to the table. We need to elect someone that's like you, someone who will bring your ideas and listen to your ideas and bring those to the table and fight for them. I have the energy to fight for your ideas, and I will stand up for you. And I humbly ask for your support on October 14th. Thank you.
I didn't think 4 years ago that, I don't think any of us thought 4 years ago that we would live through a pandemic. I definitely didn't think that I would contract COVID 4 times and be absent from some meetings. But one thing I would say that COVID has taught us is that you can still function. You can still function in society through technology, and also that the world kept going, the world kept turning, even though it was different, but businesses kept going, decisions kept being made, and so it showed us that you don't always have to be present to be effective. And so I think me serving as District 12 Councilwoman, my effectiveness has a great track record, especially with the Delta biofuel. And there are $100 million investment directly into District 12. And it is my mission to continue to move forward and pursue businesses that are engaged in the advancement of sugarcane technology. And hopefully it will create new jobs and bring new businesses. Thank you.
Thank you all again tonight for providing this opportunity. When you see my name on the ballot, Courtney Broussard Fitch, number 92, I want you to know who I am and what I stand for. More so, I'm a candidate that will take my role seriously. From a taxpayer's perspective, it is not fair to receive compensation for an abundance of full and partial absences. I will make District 12 a priority again. On October 14th, I challenge you to elect the change you want to see and vote. Get out and vote. So again, my name is Courtney Broussard Fitch, and I thank you again for tonight. Thank you.
In closing, I'd like to thank the Chamber for putting this great event on, moderator for the awesome job you did, and to the people in the audience for coming out to try to get informed about the candidates running for office. To the candidates up here, thank you for stepping up and trying to represent your constituents of the districts. To the residents in District 10, my focus, if elected, will be you and find real solutions for your everyday problems that matter to you. It's not about me and being an elected official or having fancy titles. It's about you and what matters most to you in Iberia Parish and District 10. I humbly ask for your vote and your support. Number 91, Brock Pellerin, Iberia Parish Council.
My 9-year-old granddaughter was doing some homework one afternoon on different branches of government. She asked me, what is my role in Iberia Parish government? I explained to her I'm part of the legislative branch and Mr. Richard of the executive branch. I remind her of the many times she saw me in the newspaper, TV, headed to a meeting, attending Zoom meetings with state and federal officials. But I did explain to her the most important thing that we do and we take for granted, or things that people don't notice, is what I do. Your regular garbage pickup every week, the water you turn on when it comes out the faucet, the sewer service working properly, the potholes is called in for repair, drainage problems identified after a major rain event, hurricane preparation, the balanced budget, a clean parish audit, board appointments, job creation, supporting new businesses, and the list goes on. My experience and my leadership is proven Vote number 90, Eugene Olivier for Iberia Parish Council, and I will continue doing the hard work that this parish deserves. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Chamber Leadership Iberia as well as everybody. Just you being here gives me some hope, okay? But I'd also like to talk about the improvements to District 9 real quick. We have a new walking track in the park. We also have Dasper Road. I can't take credit for that one. I have to thank our local delegation. We have a new fire station in the past 4 years. I have to thank Mayor Brad Clifton for that one. We have some other things coming. We have a town hall fixing to come, as well as a bridge improvement, which is fixing to start in October, end of October, beginning of November, just to let you know. I want to improve and make more improvements on those improvements. You know, we can go a long way, but our local delegation is going to be key. We're going to have to work with them, and I humbly ask for your support. Number 88, District 9. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the sponsors again for putting on the event tonight, for everybody in the audience for coming. Appreciate y'all support, and I would appreciate y'all support on October 14th. Thanks.
This concludes tonight's forum for Iberia Parish Council District 9, 10, 12, and 13. This also concludes our forums for this fall's election in Iberia Parish. We certainly appreciate the time and effort put forth by the candidates here tonight. How about a round of applause for our candidates? Again, we wish all candidates well and want to encourage all registered voters to exercise your right to vote in this upcoming election. Thank you.